Who's what, Sweet Bobby? This guy is definitely not a Sweet Bobby, that's for sure. Once you see this documentary, you'll know what I'm talking about. But definitely watch it. It's about an hour long and it's on Netflix.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alex, and today we're going to be diving into a gripping story that's captured the imagination of many. The haunting tale of Kira and her catfishing nightmare known as Bobby. The 10-year deception perpetrated by someone Kira believed to be her soulmate. But why did it take her so long to uncover the truth? Let's explore. Kira Assi, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, met Bobby on Facebook in 2010. Assi and Bobby developed a friendship which turned romantic, but Kira was never able to meet Bobby in person. The story of Bobby and Kira is a subject that Netflix documentary Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare explores. How they met. Bobby and Kira knew each other through their shared Sikh community in London, Hounslow, West London. Kira and Bobby's relationship began in 2010 for almost a decade. Kira became increasingly emotionally attached to Bobby, and he was able to exert coercive control over her. In 2010, Kira received a friend request from a man named Bobby. She accepted due to having mutual friends on the platform, him being an apparent acquaintance from her wider Sikh community in London. At first, the two only engaged in friendly messages, with Bobby stating that he was married and had a child on the way. However, he began confiding in Kira when his marriage started to break down, and the pair became friends. As their relationship progressed naturally, Kira wanted to take things to the next level, aka actually meet in person. While they did plan to meet each other on multiple occasions, Bobby never saw it through. Rather, he fabricated and twisted many stories as to why they were unable to get together for their first meeting. The first was in November 2013. Just still friends at the time, before becoming official on Valentine's Day in 2015.
Someone who was Bobby in this Sweet Bobby situation, like someone used my pictures for 3 years. 9 years is crazy. 9 years is crazy. Like, I have so many unanswered questions. Like, I had unanswered questions in my own situation, but in this one particularly. So, for example, yeah, you're telling me that he fell asleep with her on FaceTime every single night. All night. What, did they not speak? Like, before they fell asleep? Like, does she not at any point hear his voice? If they not, like, why did he not turn on the camera? Oh, because he'd been shot 8 times. Like, what? But then it got me thinking, the guy who got catfished by my pictures, why did he not ask to see her or FaceTime? Like, how do people get out of this? Because if I'm chatting to someone, yeah, and they don't want to FaceTime me, or if they have never seen them in person or I haven't heard their voice, you're not getting my time.
I don't like the term victim blaming. I feel like we weaponize it too much in this society. Instead of saying victim blaming, why don't we just say take accountability? Some of us do not take accountability for the situations we allow ourselves to be in. And I understand that people shouldn't be wicked. And I'm referring to the Sweet Bobby podcast, the Sweet Bobby situation. I understand people shouldn't be wicked, people shouldn't be mad. But the reality is that we're in a world with mad people. There are mad people in this world. So what can you do to avoid the impact of a mad person in your life?
I would never feel sorry for anybody that gets catfished. Because I'm so sorry, guys. Take it how you want to take it. Be offended. It's motherfucking 2024. Why have you not FaceTimed this person? Why have you not sent live snaps with this person? Like, it's so much technology. You don't even need to meet the person anymore. What happened to FaceTime? What happened to Snapchat? What happened to video calls? Like,
I'm yet to finish that Sweet Bobby thing. I've got about 15 minutes left. But I want you to know, I always see interviews after something like this with the person who has been catfished. And they will say something like, this can happen to anyone and I just want to raise awareness. No! No, it can't happen to anyone. It happened to you.
9 years of being catfished, I struggled to keep on top of my healthy eating and fitness routine for 9 days. Witness protection but allowed on Facebook. This is when I knew the fuckery was about to start. Didn't think I would have the patience to watch the full hour and a half of Sweet Bobby, but lo and behold, I had time today. Creating 50 plus fake profiles and then proceeding to catfish your cousin for nearly a decade is a level of unemployment I never want to witness in a person.
We need to talk about Sweet Bobby. Sweet Bobby is a documentary about Gareth and her catfishing incident that lasted 10 years. First off, I want to shout out Netflix for giving a Punjabi woman the platform to share her story. And shout out to Kirith for being so courageous and resilient. To experience, overcome, and then share her experience takes a lot. Like, she is a strong woman. I also think that there's something that we can take away from her experience, and I also think if an individual has caused harm to another individual, they should be held accountable. So you're probably wondering, how did this go on for 10 years? Everyone's so quick to point fingers at Gareth and be like, oh, you let yourself get catfished for 10 years. But why aren't we talking about the fact that the catfisher was committed for 10 years? Like, the catfisher could have had a baby or two within 10 years. But Gareth was under immense pressure, and her community was comparing her to a lot of her colleagues and peers, and so she was made to feel that she was behind in life. I definitely do think that when we have pressure from societal influences, we internalize that pressure and sometimes may make some ill-thought-out decisions. Also, her catfisher knew her really well because they made a basis, like the foundation of the relationship was friendship in the beginning. Her catfisher just unfortunately knew her really well and knew how to manipulate her emotions, and specifically her maternal instinct.
Kira received a Facebook message saying that Bobby had been shot and was in a coma. 2 months earlier, in 2014, she was told that he had died. To deal with her grief, she joined a Facebook group with 39 of Bobby's friends, which she later learned that were all fake accounts of people who never existed. Then, at a surreal turn of events, Bobby came back to life, a few months later claiming that he'd been put into witness protection program after faking his own death. Other excuses. See, controlling behaviours he used to use to dominate Kira, including a brain tumour in 2015, shortly followed by a stroke later on, then a heart attack. All corroborated by Bobby's consultant, who was also in contact with Kira throughout his health scares. Again, he never existed either. In addition to this, whenever Kira broached the subject of meeting, Bobby would threaten to commit suicide to control her. In 2017, Kira revealed Bobby had become so controlling that she had to sign off sick from work due to stress. Now, I have to say this. In my opinion, Kira strikes me as someone incredibly vulnerable and gullible. The clear red flags were flying high. The absence of physical interaction, evasiveness, and the growing doubts in the relationship built entirely off virtual communication. Yet, she chose to ignore them, and it's baffling. The years ticked by as Kira stayed due to the grand promises of marriage and children, painting a perfect life in her imagination. The desire for love and family can blind anyone's logic. But not seeing through the deception of the 10 years? That's alarming. And can we talk about the emotional control Bobby had over her? It's a chilling aspect of their relationship. The hold he exerted over Kira to keep her in this volatile circle of hope and disappointment. But the real twist comes when she discovers the shocking truth about Bobby. He wasn't who he claimed to be. The person behind the elaborate ruse was Kira's own cousin, Simran. I mean, can you imagine that betrayal? Not only was it a catfish scenario, but a family member betraying another family member. That's just baffling. How could someone go to such lengths to manipulate their own relative? The sheer audacity is sickening, to say the least. To my opinion, I did want to say that in 2010, catfishing wasn't necessarily, a thing or a term that people knew of. The Catfish documentary did come out in 2010 and I think was later picked up by MTV. So I do feel like, I will give her grace on the fact that maybe she didn't have the catfishing tools to understand what was going on. But, this did happen ending, in 2018, and I do believe there was more tools within that time and technology advanced during that time to find out that someone was perhaps catfishing you. And I will never blame her because she doesn't want to be known as vulnerable, but I will say there were a lot of flags that were missed, and maybe that was due to her being stressed about work and being signed off, or there was other things going on in her life. But, listening to the podcast really explored it in depth, and I do have more of an in-depth opinion about everything that happened, but this is just my, overview of the Netflix documentary. Before I go, I would like to say I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Kira should have recognised the early warning signs, and how do we protect ourselves online in the virtual world where virtual connections are becoming the norm? Let's discuss in the comments below. Keep it cute. If you enjoyed this commentary, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, stay safe online, guys. And remember, the truth can be stranger than fiction. Bye, guys!